Hey everybody, my name is Angie Morenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's been so amazing to be back on the podcast. Najua, there were people who were taking over, but I am back now. The takeover is officially done. I'm really grateful to be here today, joined by an amazing array of men. I don't think we've had this many men on a podcast, except when Matu did his show with the men that he did the show with. So I'm really, really grateful. I'm beaming and smiling because I've gotten to know some of you recently, but some of you I've known for a long time. So I'd like you to introduce yourself, and maybe before that, I'll give a great shout out to Richie because we're here because of you. Thank you so much for
Good job.
presenting. You came and well done. You really, I'll never forget that you shared this vision, and I said yes, and I'm so grateful that I did because you can see tumetoka leaps and bounds and we've done a lot. I think this is going to be the 8th year.
Wow.
In July this year will be 8 years of doing Just Angie. So thank you so much for introducing and sharing the concept and the vision, which we ran with, and we're glad that we ran with it. So first I'd like all of you to introduce yourselves. I'll start with Allen. Just introduce yourself, how you'd like my viewers to know you, the Just Angie family to know you, and then we're going to have a conversation about leadership and about being men.
Men, Thank you, Apostle Angie. Thank you
you.
so much. I feel honored, privileged to be here. For me, it's I guess it's been a long time coming. I don't think I've been in a session like this, in a production
Really?
like this, maybe in my corporate life at some point. But where the season I am in, I think this is God's time, and so I really thank you for having me and for having us as well. So my name is Allen Kimani. I'm married to one wife. We'll be celebrating 24 years of marriage this April.
24 years.
24 years this April 21st.
Amazing.
Yes. So we'll be 25 next year, April. So, with three lovely Gen Zs kids. They have 3 Gen Zs in the house. So you know at least 2 of them.
That's very unique. Your Gen Zs have both done PLF.
Both Gen Zs have done PLF. They encouraged me to
I'm
do
so grateful
PLF.
that they did. Well
Yes.
done. Jockey and Dongo.
Jockey and Dogo.
Well done.
Thumbs up for giving me the inspiration to do the same. So that's my immediate family. Blessed to have that family. I've been blessed also to have a diverse career which has spanned over in different sectors. I've taught, actually. I've lectured in the university. I've been in the energy sector. I've actually worked in government. I've been in global consulting, with PwC. I've been at the bank, working with the bank. And so, and we talk about stirring up gifts, is that I feel this is a season for doing that, putting all that together and bringing it out for the reasons which I know we'll discuss in this session. So thank you very much. So let me.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Just because I want to remember, we also you're all in PLF, the Purpose Leadership Forum, and we've had the largest group of men, and this season, and I'm so glad that you're meeting. And you formed, a group and community. Matu as well is taking over. I'm like, Matu, this takeover is happening everywhere. Can you give me space? But I was like, what are you doing in my PLF season 33 group? Because he was, I think, 32 or something. So I was like, where we umevuka? But I'm grateful. I love it when men come together and just be men and be able to talk to each other. So that's amazing. Who was go next? I think it's Mugwe. Mugwe.
Okay. My name is Mugwe, Njuguna. I first will start by I'm a son of God. And I think that came to me really strongly within PLF this particular season. I came wanting to have a good relationship with God, and I'm truly having a great one. I'm a father to 2 children, Njuguna and Wairimo. I'm blessed to have those 2 kids. They've been a blessing in my life continually, and they teach me a lot. A lot of stuff. When you say that, because you're the father, you teach. They also teach me a lot of things. They're trying to make me dance, but that has not happened.
That's TikTok. That's
Yes.
social media.
That is not happening. Not yet.
Yeah.
And I'm dating a beautiful young lady. Her name is Sally. And I God bless her for that. God has blessed me with. She's amazing. She's just an amazing person. Yes. From a very diverse family. And this men have become part of that family.
Amazing.
And as you said, we have a group. We have a book club where we are sharpening each other. We're keeping each other accountable. And I think that for us is a platform. And I was just sharing with them today that today's meeting, which is actually going to be chaired by our very own Richie, my son is now home for the holidays, so he's going to join us as we continue, growing and mentoring them. So that's me in a nutshell.
Great. Richie needs no introduction.
I do.
Where's my tambourine when I need it?
My name is Richard Njau, A-star.
And no, you have to finish.
Oh, the light that leads to the light, like the
Thank
star
you.
that led the wise men straight to Christ.
Hallelujah.
I am a son of God, and I am also somebody who is about to complete season 33 of PLF. For those of you who are wondering what PLF is, because you'll hear us using that acronym a lot, it stands for Purpose and Leadership Forum. And the reason why I need to say that, because in life, people can look at you kama umefika, but you have to always push yourself to growth. So PLF is very special to me because it is a 12-week leadership course that I took that has broken barriers or ceilings for me to go to the next. The next is big. So I'm excited about being here. I'm a father of 2 girls, a 6-year-old and a 19-year-old. Actually, she's not 19, she's 9, but then she's so, the conversations we have, it's like, she's so 19, man. But she's 9, a husband to 1, Masi Joki Njau. Amazing wife. We've just done 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even we said,
that's not small.
Even 2 years is for clapping.
And I'll end my intro by saying this year I'll be in Christ for 20 years.
Wow.
This is my 20th year.
You know,
when you start this journey, you never think you're ever going to say 20. In fact, when you start, you're looking at those guys and you're hearing guys, I've been saved for 15 years. I'm like, what? Me, I don't even know. I'm still wondering Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth. Then you start looking, you don't look for Ecclesiastes. You're like, guy, where kitabu iko wapi? No, you're hearing guys, you're like, now what is that? Will I ever get there? So I say that with amazing humility to know that God loves me and has allowed me to be his son in this world for the last, from the day I was born, but then for the 20 years that he's been able to allow me to live the way that I've lived. And let me just say those 20 years are the most pivotal years of my life, because I also say that I'm a SO. I live my life according to instructions.
That is so amazing. Because
thank you, Pastor Angie.
I'm so amazed. And Richie, just to say, because this is the place where we are authentic and vulnerable.
Yes.
You are the least likely person to do PLF. If there was a list of people who can do PLF and people who cannot, you are topping that list. So when I saw you, and you kept telling me, and I was like, hey, is Richie serious?
Yeah.
But it's been a good experience. And the thing with PLF, we don't advertise it because it has to spread by word of mouth. And I think the people that I've learned over the years are the people who come into that forum or a capsule, like I call it, that has to be a message from God. You cannot just come because of the sake of coming. And we've seen the disasters we have created by forcing people to do it. Sometimes when you find something good, you want other people to do it, but maybe they were never meant supposed to do it. So now we don't force anyone. You come, we pray, God comes, the people come, and we just have a great time. And there's something very special about your season. And I kept saying, do I say that about every season? I don't know. But there's something very special about PLF season 33. Because it's defining moments that cause movement. And that's amazing because as Christians, we always have to be moving. And today I want to talk about leadership. So I had my two favorite definitions of leadership. One by John Maxwell. He says leaders, I always paraphrase them, but he says leaders know the way, then they go the way, and then they show the way. So you know what to do, then you do it, but then you show other people how to do it. And I know that's even going to pan out in your lives. It's amazing because you know what to do, then you have done it, but then you show other people. And then my second best definition is Max Lucado. He talks about if you want to run an orchestra, you have to turn your back to the crowd. And that has been something that I found myself doing over the years. Because when you look at the orchestra, if you want to lead an orchestra, you have to turn your back to the crowd. Because the orchestra leader, he's not looking at the people. He has to look at what's happening in the orchestra and that all the moving parts are working well. And then maybe he can hear that, he'll understand if he's doing a good job by the reactions he can hear, but he can't see. Because his work is to coordinate what's happening here. So I find myself, I feel like an orchestra leader. And then it brings me to Ephesians 4:11-16, always talks about where we got our commission. It says, he gave some to the apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers, but it's for the equipping of the saints, for the work of ministry. It's actually you guys who are supposed to execute vision and purpose. It is just for us to equip you, because I don't do PLF alone. Sometimes I'm even striving, looking for a class. Like, I can't believe they put the schedule and I'm not in the class. I'm like, hello, founder here, yeah. Go, and then God is like, Jipatia should go and do other things. People are moving here. So I love that. That's what we're doing. So I don't know where you want to start, but I was thinking, I had questions. Let me see. I had questions that says, maybe define leadership for us in your own way and what you think leadership is about.
Yeah, maybe I can start and say that given the exposure that I've God has given me the opportunity to have over the years in various in various platforms or in various organizations. I think leadership is taking what you're learning, and the experience, what you're going through, what you're learning from the leaders above you, and learning from that and influencing others to be even better than you are, than yourself. So leave a place better than you found it, and influencing those that come after you to actually leave an organization or an institution or a family better than you found it. So I think for me, I think I have that, from PLF. Again, we go back to PLF because, and I would like to say this, Pastor Angie, about PLF is, it has given us now retrospection. You look back and say, okay, that was God doing all this, and this is what I was meant. So you get your purpose and your life very well aligned, and so this is the direction I'm supposed to be taking. So and like now I know who I am much better. That I'm a giver of information. I mentor young people. When people come to me, I give them information freely, nothing to I try to influence them as much as possible, the right way. So it's about influence, and that's how then you become a good leader. Then you create other leaders, even better than yourself, and that's you're happy about that going forward.
And with you, I love that leadership is about influence. That's amazing because even your children, the first day you were in class, you were asking many questions. I was sitting there and see who's engaging, who's not, and I kept wondering, who is this man? And when you told me who your children are, I was like, oh my God, what? They got their dads to come and do PLF. But that's amazing because you had already influenced them in different ways because they wanted to be better. They wanted to do things better. And they came at their own seasons, and it was amazing. So leadership is about influence, and we can definitely see that in your life. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll add. So PLF, the Purpose and Leadership Forum that we're doing currently, is making, part of the reason why I'm doing it or decided to do the class was to understand leadership. Because on my own channel on CTA, God gave me an instruction to interview 100 leaders. So I'm like, okay, what do I choose these people on? What is the basis of leader? You look at people out there, and people, is it money that people are making me wanting to call people? What is this definition of a leader that is there? Good. So when I introspected, and I really liked what he said, and I thought, who has been a leader in my life? Hands down, Kanji Mugwe. I am because of Kanji. And what did Kanji do? Kanji cloned himself in me.
Wow.
Like, that guy the principles and the values and the things that he taught me, God blessed me with such an amazing human being to come into my life till today. And in that time, through his actions, through his words, but strongly through the things that I saw, not even heard per se, I began to mirror that in my own life. You get? So I'm like, this guy created a disciple.
Imagine.
And when I look at the different people who are in that area, have it be Riga, have it be
there's several of
Bupe, yes, I can see that same strand of DNA. So when I then now look at myself as a leader, I think, okay, am I doing this same discipleship? As a father, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to clone myself in my daughters. I'm trying to pass my DNA, and not just the DNA that of flesh and blood, physical, but even my thinking, my ideas, my mode of apparatus, my beliefs. I'm trying to clone them into them. And now as an employer, I don't have employees, guys. May God, I have I have people who I have to disciple. And that's when I take that posture, it therefore means when somebody makes a mistake, what are you going to do? Are you about to fire them and tell them to leave?
They're modeling after you.
Are you about to fire them? It now brings hard decisions when you decide it's discipleship over employee. It means this person has to come in like David's mighty men, as divorcees, as broken people, and it is your job in the time that they get to engage with you for them to live better. So mistakes is what they're going to make, but you have to figure out then, with God's leading, how then do you transform them or clone yourself in them. And you have to ensure that the thing that you're cloning yourself in them then is of godliness, because you will be judged according to it.
So perfect.
That is true.
And discipleship, when I understood discipleship, I understood first of all, you can't even choose the disciples. The disciples are chosen for you, then they come, then you disciple them. But I love it because Allen's definition is influence, which is a good one, it's a part of it, but you are also saying modeling. You see, what Kanji did is he modeled his life. Because I was going to say Riga is another one. When I see Riga, I see Kanji. Yeah, Bupe I've not seen for a while, must be in Tanzania, but I see he produced himself in others. And even for me, I can say there's an element of people who are around me who I've produced myself in them. I hear them pray the way I pray. I even want to open my eyes. I'm like, what? They even pray like me, like what? That sounds like me. But and make decisions, and trying to, even this podcast, the people who write to me about Just Angie, even when I'm trying to have to have stories with God of, then you can show me dust like that. My daughter gave me, she showed me dust, hands down. I was like, okay, let's have a conversation. Now me and God.
Yes.
Explain it thyself. But it's when the people send you messages of impact, messages of how you change their lives, you wonder how. When people read your book and they say, this is what is changing, you're like, wow. And even being able to disciple myself in the books, disciple myself in the podcast, which I also feel is good, because some people can't be in close proximity, but they, even from far, in a safe place, reading the book, watching the podcast, they're learning things and they are changing and they are being discipled. So I love it. Influence and modeling.
And even that modeling, let me just add and say, the people who you pass the podcast to, who is your daughter and your son, they did it like you.
Yeah.
You can see some aspects of you in them, whether they want to agree or not.
They will not agree. They will not agree, but it is there. It is there. Yeah, it really is, and that's amazing. That's amazing. And the thing is, I think with modeling, Richie, you don't even realize that you're doing it. That's the thing. You're not. It's not a class. But I'm learning from your life. I'm learning from your decisions. I'm learning from the things that you do. Because the more I grow older, the more I understand we have to do things almost with counsel and with modeling others. You can't just make decisions, you yourself, the things you thought. You have to look around and see, what are people doing? Who do I want to model myself after? What are my leaders doing? Because I always say, and I'm coming to you, Mugwe, but if Bishop T.D. Jakes had, because he's been my greatest mentor and greatest discipler from a distance, imagine. But if he had not shared his vulnerability, I don't know where I'd be myself. I'm talking about myself. Because he shares his vulnerability, and him is running a ministry of like 30,000 people. So when you think of your 300 or your 200, you're like, what are you doing? It's okay, it's all right, we're gonna go. And then you are laughing, and you're thinking at that moment, he's telling the story, it sounds funny, but when it was happening, it was very painful. But he has modeled life, and even because I've gotten the chance to meet him a few times, that's how I start. I said, you changed the life of a young woman in Nairobi, Kenya, and I don't even know whether you ever knew that. And I'm so grateful that I get to say this to you. Changing lives everywhere by the things that we do and by the actions that we take. And then that tells me now you cannot live your life in isolation. Making decisions without counsel, without looking at modeling after people, it's not possible. You have to look at people, what they're doing. And then to come back to Allen as well, imagine having influence and influencing negatively. There's a lady called Melissa, who I also interviewed here. She also came on Just Angie, but she told me once, she sent me a message and she said, you have the potential, if you're going into a hole, to lead very many people into the hole with you, Pastor Angie. I'm like, wow, that's the message you can send me. I was like, eh? She's like, you better be careful, because if you influence in the wrong way, so many people will be lost. And the other person who told me that, so now I'm starting to make this about myself, is my chiropractor, because she came on the show, and then on her forms, she has who referred you. So she had so many Just Angie people. So she called me to somewhere. I couldn't believe it. She told me, you don't understand. You better be doing everything right. Because all these people, I was even asking them, have you ever met Just Angie? No. But you came because I was on her show. Yeah, my goodness. That's trust, that's influence. You know, people will come and do that, so that's amazing. Mugwe?
Wow.
Yeah, true. Actually, what Alan and Ruchi have said is very, very true. But I think as a man, you can't speak about leadership if you don't speak about fatherhood.
Yeah.
Because that is a deep one. And I think even for us, the very first book that we are reading as a club
It's about
is Fatherhood by Derek Prince.
Why do you think so? Who explained this fatherhood thing?
We talk about who's your authority. So where do we get our authority from? And our authority is from God. And we call him God the Father. So fatherhood actually is direct from him. We are just mirrors of who he is to us. And if we get that wrong here on earth, as in that's why we get a lot of our problems coming from. They stem from
and
that.
do you think that's why? Because I've always said, and I also learned this from Bible school, so I like to give I don't know to say where I learned it, but they used to talk about proper functioning fatherhood until I got to the point where I thought, if the whole world I feel is suffering from a lack of proper functioning fatherhood. If fatherhood functioned, the world would work.
Completely.
Totally. So we can break it down, because now may I say, okay, that's the globe. Bring it down to your level. If fatherhood works here in any life, then any life can be turned around because of proper functioning fatherhood.
Yeah, and I think we have also learned a lot. Just thinking around fatherhood, father is a king. You're the king of your home and how you should run your home. Father is a priest. What does that mean? Father is a prophet to your children.
To your children, what
to your spouse as well. And if we think about it, God created the first unit he created was a family. Right? And that's where now the devil comes in to break that. He just comes to break that one unit. One thing. And from that, because from a family you get a community, from a community you get a nation, a society, then a nation, and then the world. Right? Basic unit is the family.
That's so true.
And that's why fatherhood, you can't take fatherhood away from leadership, because that is what you that for me, you can't have this conversation about fatherhood.
I can't cry. We have lashes. But that's such a powerful thing, because I'm thinking, even I'm going to use her story. She's not on the set, but I was just thinking when you said prophet, Jerry, because she's also shared here on this.
My sister.
No, Dorcas Jerry, that one. Her dad said one word. He said when she went to study architecture, he said, you will finish. And she finished amongst, if you go back, I think the video is called A Million Little Miracles. She finished her architecture degree with so much drama, but she finished. But I always say, her dad said one word. Can you one word? He didn't even participate. He just said, you will finish. And it's like the whole world went into backing this prophetic word that the man didn't even know at that time was a prophecy. But everything went into backing that, and you will finish. So the king is so important. The priest is so important. The prophet, what we say. That's why we have people who are wounded by things a father said. Without understanding, I'm done blaming people. I don't know. We just do things, because when we look at the number of mistakes I've made in my life, it's only the grace of God. But then that makes me say, let's speak to another generation. Be very intentional what you're saying as a father.
Or what you don't say.
Or what you don't say. That's actually true, There's even what you don't say.
It is also what you don't say.
How you don't affirm this person.
Exactly.
Because that's where the wounding is. But even as you continue, the other thing is, but the best thing, because now somebody might sit there and say, me, I don't have a father. But the best thing is that God provides multiple fathers. Fathers are everywhere. Find them on social media. Find them on YouTube. Find them personally. Find their books. There's no way that you will miss somebody who can father you if you're intentional about looking for that person. They'll be there.
They'll be there.
But you have to listen.
Yep.
Wow, Mugwe has brought such a profound now.
And just to add, Angie,
Yes.
Pastor Angie, about that is
You can call me Angie, don't worry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I think that prophetic word, and I think anybody who goes through PLF would have to now experience that what it is. It's just interesting that I know it's something that I've had that I've always wanted to. Is it mentor or just care for people, and then it comes out clearly that something is, and it was told to me by two prophets that somebody is telling me you'll be a father to the fatherless, you will mentor, coach young, and different prophets talking about exactly the same thing. And so then of course I look at my own life and my own the impact that I've had on my kids and say, wow, a father can be, this is the amount of power that I also wield as a father, and that, as you're saying, whatever you say comes to pass. Actually, whatever the father says comes to. If you lay your hands and bless, it will come. It will come to pass, and it's power that a father. It's only a father who has. So, faith without action is dead. So PLF has taught us that we must take action.
Yes.
Interestingly, I think the three of us had similar prophetic word, but they'll talk about it. And that is why we've come up with the book club, initially as a platform to bring, first of all, men together, fathers together. Mugwe said he'll bring his son just to say hi to us. We meet every Tuesday evening, and we'll be meeting physically as well. But the idea is to grow each other, according to Proverbs 27:17, sharpen each other, and use that platform to father those who are not. And as you say, there are so many. There's so many. So that is one of the actions that we took even before we graduate. We are commissioned.
Before you're commissioned. But that's good, because this is coming out, isn't it? This is vision. And the thing with purpose that we've discussed is that purpose is always about other people. Most times we think it's about us, but it's about others. And you can imagine, even in your group, I think of 11, there are some young people who really need you guys.
Correct.
They need you like yesterday. Like, oh my God, they're even feeling relief. Somebody can show me this thing, because I don't know what it is. We don't have time to discuss. Why is it that we have fathers who are present but absent? They are actually there, but you hear somebody say, I'm not close to my dad. It's really crazy. When we understand what a father has to do, that cannot be the story. But the thing is, at least there, even the 11 of you, there will be a lot of fathering conversations, mentorship conversations, and God knows how He will expand it. But it's always about other people, and that is so powerful. That is so powerful.
And thanks to PLF, thanks to you.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
PLF has
It's done things.
It's done things.
And continues
it's done good things, and it's done. You don't have to also. I hear my naysayers and my haters in my head, but haters are good people They make you go and perfect what you're doing. But anyway, the idea is that it's been there. It's done a lot for people. We don't speak about it a lot.
Yeah.
But it also had something to do with me and not taking that identity seriously, not understanding how it was impacting people's lives. But there's more understanding that's coming to it. And there's a great group of leaders that are coming out of this. And even with the haters, they all know I impacted their lives. They have no doubt that there was impact, even if we don't like that woman. Kuna vile, she has helped us. I think, Richie, I wanted to ask you, you've interviewed amazing leaders, yeah? And God has given you this assignment to interview another 100 leaders, global leaders all across the world. But as you've interviewed leaders, what have you learned?
Wow, learned so much. I can't even. One profound one is the impact of a leader's role in transition. Let me say that again.
Okay.
One of the most important places in people's lives where they need leadership is transition.
Yes.
Transition from, and it starts anything from baby to talking, going the baby's first day in school, graduating, going to boarding school, men's rite of passage, marriage, first job. There's so many different transitions that people have in life, your life, my life, and there's constant transitions.
Yeah.
The most crucial place for leadership is in those transitions. And a lot of people are wounded because they transitioned alone or they transitioned without guidance.
Yeah.
So I know that for me, that thing, I've thought about it, and you remember the thing about transitions, they are etched in your memory.
Yes.
There are moments of your life that are etched. When you think about, oh, I remember having my first child. I remember getting married. Men and women, people think that this is just a women thing. No. I remember going to university for my first time. In those things, I needed guidance and leadership because transition is always from known to unknown.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, I'm preaching. I've looked at myself.
But it's true. It's true. Unknown.
But on a serious note, like in those moments of transition, you really need leadership. If you can step in and be that for somebody now with what you know, let me tell you, you have no idea what it is that you're going to do.
And transitions, we always say transitions, they create anxiety. And we actually say angst, A-N-G-S-T. And as you're speaking, I'm seeing it's like there's a possibility of falling off because you're transitioning from is it known to unknown?
Yes.
Actually, in that gap, you could fall completely off the wayside. Completely.
Can I just add and say I'll even use, there's a CTA I did when I was doing something called the Diaspora series.
CTA, you're not even telling us what
CTA means clean the airwaves. Go and subscribe. Trust transfer. Angie people, man, you can't just chill. Do you have your community have a name?
Just Angie family.
Just Angie family. You guys just can't hook a brother up with like a subscribe, views here and there. It trickles down to school fees. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, so I have this platform where I interview different people. I interviewed a guy called Waithaka when I started this thing called the Diaspora series, and it was to interview people who are going to the diaspora to bridge home to the diaspora and the diaspora to home. There's something that guy said in his CTA that till today I remember. He says the person who picks you up from the airport when you first travel is the most important person. If that guy takes you to the club, you know Stato is for Dunda. If that guy takes you to church, you get a different. Yes. Patricia Ithao also said something so powerful after telling you thank you so much.
I know, I was so grateful. I was like, hey,
and if you notice what you did, you helped her in a transition. You and her were in school together. So when she transitioned to that school, Pastor Angie was there to welcome her.
And I was just Angie even that time. Wow.
But she said, you are literally.
I was just Angie. There was nothing. I can't even remember the moment, but she tells everyone and everybody and says that story at the time.
But look at how
You have
it's
to
still
believe it
etched
in her mind.
because
It was a
of in her
transition.
transition. Who did she
Yes.
encounter?
Mm.
But just to end this, what the second thing that she said that brings such gravity to this transition story is because as leaders, have it be corporate, have it be in the family structure, sometimes time is not a thing that you have.
Yes, is it?
You get so busy doing so many different things that are good and that are godly that it affects. Time is limited because it's 24 hours. So what she said is that she remembers saying, no. When her daughters were leaving for university, she stopped her life.
Yeah.
Because that transition period was so pivotal. So I'm just going to say, for me, in leadership, in transitions, leadership is extremely crucial.
Yeah. And I was going to say, one thing I'm learning is that also not to make decisions without counsel. So you see that transition, we want to be very independent and want to make it on our own, but you can't. You've got to listen to some wisdom. You've got to watch some podcasts, you know. And even me these days, even wisdom comes from ChatGPT, which I'm still trying to figure out. This thing, so do you understand? You know, I type ChatGPT, then I talk to it for like 20 minutes. Like, wait, who is here? Who is answering me? But you know, so there's so many multiple sources of information and knowledge. You can't just make decisions. We need. That's why I think Psalm 1 is very important. The counsel of the godly. You will make your own independent decision, but you've got to look at things from different perspectives and from different viewpoints in order to make that decision. And then you can't do that transition by yourself, which I think also I think of today's age, there must be transition coaches if that's what you need. But you can't do this by yourself. You've got to get wisdom and seek counsel on the decisions that you've got to make. But transition is important.
Not to hog the mic, but just to say this last pivotal one. The tagline on CT is, you never truly know people until you take the time to get to know people.
Yes.
Now, why is that pivotal? That's what led me to PLF. Because I can look at Pastor Angie and I can say I've known her for years.
Yeah, you've known me forever.
And you have all these assumptions of who it is that you think because you met her in this period and you have judged her totality on this small period of life. And we do that as human beings. So because I get to sit down with people for long extended time, I always leave saying, imagine I thought I knew this person, I don't.
But I didn't know that.
And I am approaching life like that.
Yeah.
So even when I came to PLF, I come looking for, am I lacking something? Am I not going to get some certain type of blessing? Because I've taken Pastor Angie for granted.
Yeah.
The prophet for granted. I've not known Pastor Angie as a prophet, and I'm just like, Pastor Angie, let me a prophet. We chill together. We just. But then suddenly you were like, let me keep my mouth quiet. Let me take a different posture. Let me listen to that same thing that she's been saying over and over again, and watch. And I'm telling you, this PLF has been the most pivotal thing that I have done in the last 10 years.
That's so amazing.
Because of
I've known
posture.
you for so long. I've known you in those 19, 20 years because we started. Mine is now, I'm celebrating 19 years. But I've known you for that long. But I'm grateful. Because you have to also see people. And I think that's another thing about leadership. You've got to see almost the value that they bring and also what you cannot see. And if you keep being forced into a certain direction or to a certain leader, start picking up what you need to do and to pick up from that leader. There's something else, but I've heard my mentor say that being a man is hard. He's always saying that. He's always saying, let me see, so I don't misquote it. Let's say, he's saying it's hard being a man. I'd like you to explain further and give us some wisdom on how men can navigate this difficulty better.
Wow.
Is it hard being a man?
Yes.
It is.
It is hard being a man. I think primarily because we have been taught, and the PLF has helped us unlearn a lot of things. We have been taught by society that, a man is kangumu, die with your problems. And we actually do, unfortunately. And even the conversation we just having prior to this, you find that we go into this cocoon into yourself, and you're really trying to solve whatever issue that you have, and you're struggling by yourself. Whereas all you need to do is have your group of men, and you're like, me, I'm struggling. I think it was Pastor Haji Gashanja, just saw a clip where it caught me because he said he was meeting up with his friends, and just as they were about to leave, he had one question, and he was like, "How are you doing? How are you really doing?" They spent another 4 hours, and they were leaving.
Because
They spent another 4 hours because things went deep. Guys, they didn't even know this person is going through divorce, having a really tough time. And they were able to counsel each other and help each other out. And at the end of that session, somebody leaves with an answer, because you thought that this is my problem. I am the only one who knows it, and I'm the only one who can solve it because it is mine.
Yeah.
But you find that you can never do this alone.
You can't.
You can never do this
That
alone.
is really coming out. You can't do it alone. Because
No.
I'm remembering Ernest Wambui, because he's also shared, I think, publicly how he was struggling with something, and then he was like, "Hey, that's super spirit. I can't tell him I'm struggling with this thing." But when he actually now they said, "Hey, about 5 people are struggling," you're like, "What?" So the same things that you're struggling with, other people are struggling. And I think leadership is being able to tattoo. I'm now tattooing. We say tattoo. To be able to find out what's the problem and come up with solutions, or listen to other people, being vulnerable and authentic and looking for a solution. But you can't die with a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we don't know how to be.
As men.
As men, we don't know how to be vulnerable, and that's what makes it so difficult to be a man. That's what makes it hard. Because if we were vulnerable with each other,
Men know how to be vulnerable. They know the consequences of being vulnerable. It's not that they don't know. If you really think about it, we all know how to sit and talk. The truth be told is that we are scared of the judgment
of what we're gonna say,
the shame.
That's what the society has now taught us.
Yeah.
So we retreat into our cocoons.
Yeah.
And you build that brick wall that is so high that you can't even jump over it yourself.
Yeah.
But the moment you break that and you're like, this is my life, and I will, even with my own vulnerability, I will help someone else, and that you realize, man, it's not about you. And at times you may be speaking out, and you're speaking out for somebody else in the room who's scared of speaking out.
Which is so
and then
important
now you are helping them
to speak out.
Well, you'll get help yourself, but you also more importantly is that your impact on their life, they'll come back and say, man, thank you so much for saying that. And you're like, what did they say? Because you were speaking for yourself, but you were speaking for them and just didn't know about
That's so powerful. Speaking to them.
Just to add that, you see, as men, we are called to be leaders. Like, I mean, on a normal day, on a normal function, if I go to a function, in any function nowadays, I almost have to be prepared to say something. Not whether I'm on the program or not. You just have to be ready to, to step up and, have that confidence and say something that will be relevant and will, of course, have impact. And so a man, to answer the question about is it hard being a man, it is, because you're expected to lead. Most of the time you're expected to lead your family, you're expected to lead an extended family, you're expected to lead wherever you go. People look up to you all the time. So there's all these things that you're required to be, multiplicity of things, and so you need a different set of skills. And that set of skills you can only get if you're a community of men, those who are above you, who have learned from you. So you learn from them, and then you teach others as you go on. So yes, it is tough, but on the flip side, it is a blessing, because once you overcome adversity, is the preparation actually for leadership. It's adversity is a preparation for leadership. So you go through adversity. We've seen through PLF all the leaders and all the adversities they went. Kina Joseph, David, Paul. The process. And I particularly love that session on process, that you go through this process of adversity or of challenges, of being pruned by God, and then you come out this amazing leader after that. So yes, it's tough, but it is God's way of giving you now those skills to be able to be a great leader in this society. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really moved. Like women, as guys, we talk to everyone and anyone. We cannot die with our problems. It's a problem. Hey, even hairdresser, shikapa, unaanza, unafunguka. What do they say? These days, niseme nitoke. Hey, we have to outlet. We have to fight. But I like that fact, and I think I even heard somebody say that the Bible says husbands should love your wives and all that it says, but apparently it's trust. Once a woman has won your trust, that's the greatest honor that you could give her. But some of us are saying, sister, by the way, some people cannot be given trust because they're going to bring that story up.
Mm.
So I was telling them, do not bring stories that you have been told in trust up. Keep it in trust. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Maybe you can tell me your parting shots as we bring this to a close about leadership, about fatherhood, about how you're going to express it. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts.
Maybe I start as
Okay.
so,
Start as we marinate.
as we
Marinate.
marinate.
It's a deep question.
First, let me just say, PLF Purpose and Leadership Forum is a defining moment.
That's your season.
This is our season 33. That has been the theme: defining moments that cause movements. So PLF in itself has been a defining moment, and so Pastor Angie, you're gonna see a lot of. I promise you that you'll see a lot of movement and a lot of action following from PLF. So that is one thing that I think if anybody has any inhibitions about whether there's going to be execution after this, I think that can be laid to rest.
Thank you.
What have we learned in this season, in PLF season 33? We have learned about who are we, the real me. Pastor Angie has written a whole book on that, and we are going to be, in fact, going through it in our book club shortly.
That you're going to go through my book.
Yes. So the real me and the way the soul fights with the body, and there's a lot of philosophy and deep stuff that we need to chambua, if I may use that word, in that book. We've learned about kingdom lifestyle. We've learned about God's principles, obedience, love, faith. We've met fantastic facilitators. I don't know how you get them. You said
they all came through PLF.
They all came through PLF.
I mean, all of them, every single facilitator. And there's a whole, like, we could do, by the grace of God with humility, like 5 teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
If we had 5 PLF classes,
Wow.
there'd be people to train.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Imagine, with the 5 facilitators there. I'm trying to do one for the youth. I'm thinking I want to do one for the youth, so I'm thinking through that, where I can provide this opportunity for them as well.
So they've been amazing facilitators. Amazing, chosen by God through you. I mean, they've just been phenomenal. And they're from the marketplace, so I mean, they resonate with everybody who's attended this class that has been sold out. Actually, I think this class was also sold out. As much as it has the most
there
men,
there was no space for even another human being. It was they were maxed out.
Yes. So we've learned a lot. So now it's taking up the manual again and reading it again and again, and seeing what God is telling us to do in our action, going into action. Yeah, and fathering the fatherless. I was told about stewarding a lot of wealth as well. So getting around that. Mentoring people who are in business, who are in entrepreneurship, and helping them grow, helping those businesses grow and grow into big institutions. Going through the prophetic class and giving us a lot of purpose, focus going forward in this season. And so my parting shot would say that it's been a great experience. Of course, we continue to interact and thank you, Pastor Angie, for what you're doing, and we bless you. We continue to bless you. We pray for you every day that this may continue to grow and grow in these boundaries in Kenya, in beyond, and to just grow leaders, as I know that's your mission. And thank you very much for even being vulnerable and being the great leader that you are.
Yep.
Thank you
so much. That's just an amazing parting shot. Thank you.
Thank
you. But
No tears.
no tears.
No, let's see if we can pull some tear
out. Trying to make me cry. Watch out. The lashes have to stay here. If I went them, they'll be trouble. But thank you so much for saying that. And thank you for even celebrating me when I'm still here. People like to be celebrated when there's a coffin there. Now that's when you are celebrating me. I'm grateful to be celebrated now. And I'm also learning to own my space and say, yes, this is something that God has asked me to do. And by His grace, He's let me do it well. And He's let me equip people. And that's what I need to do. I have a focus on what I need to do. Perfect. So I'm very grateful. And I know that this season will be different. I just don't know how, but I know this season will be different.
Amen.
Wow. Powerful. I have two pattern shots. The first one is when I asked you during the class. I remember when you were talking about how you were in a matatu. I asked you, did you ever think that this thing would become what it is?
Never. I hadn't even started it at that point. I was in a matatu because I was an intern, remember?
Yes.
I quit my job and went to Mavuno, and I'd driven for 12 years. So this was now no car because I was driving company cars. And the car that I had that was mine, I sold it in, this is just true Kenyanness. Who knows where the money for the car went? I had a car, so I sold it instead of saving it so that when I don't have a company car, I have a car. That's the story for our day. So I was taking matatus, but they were so crazy. The matatu, honestly, that's why I love our culture. He was so crazy. They kept asking me, "Mama, gari iko wapi? Gari made service." Then there's a day I didn't have 5 bob. Imagine to make the fare. He's asking me, "Quite serious? You can cost her 5 bob." And he told me I look like I have trucks which have 16 wheels. This is what happened.
But the guy, and my point for this is, like, I love that you've broken it even down like that. Sometimes we think in this leadership journey, and even when you explain the beginning, that we know. We don't. This thing requires faith
and
guidance. So leadership, it's not that even the leaders know. The leaders just have the guts, just have that thing pushing them to try despite not knowing. So that's my one pattern. The second thing that I want to say is, in life, you can be going round and round and things are good, but stretch yourself to force yourself out of the comfortable place that you're in. Like, don't, a lot of people do therapy when things are going bad. That's not when you're going. A lot of people decide to grow, because that's literally what it is. They decide to grow in the difficult. Rarely do people decide to grow in the good.
Imagine.
Because things are going good and you don't want to rock the boat. That's the word. PLF for me was me deciding to grow in the good. Life was good. Life is good. And to be honest, if anything, PLF has come to shake the boat because it showed me, it's unfortunately given me a glimpse of what could be. In fact, I look at it, there's a conversation I was having with somebody and they're like, it's like there's a door there and God has asked me, enter that door. And I'm like, enter that door. What's in that door? Then I enter that door and I'm like, wow, I like what it is here. Now I can't go back because I like here better. But unfortunately, I can't stay here because 12 weeks have ended. So I have a choice. You either enter that unknown door or you go back to where to good.
And you cannot.
You go back to good. And this door, it's not written great. This door just has a G. So you don't know if it will be Guy Papa.
So you don't want to move from good to great.
You're like, but if you've had none that I've said, I'm just saying you can't allow yourself to not grow.
And you can't live life with limitations.
You can't. Imagine you're still alive, which means you still have to grow. You look at this show. There are 4 mics.
Imagine.
Even this show, when we started, it had 1 mic and
one mic
in one room.
And there was what are those things you guys call the cordless ones?
Yes.
No, not
the lapels.
The lapels.
Yes.
Those are lapels. I don't know. It was just one in one room. And even my makeup artist was telling me there was no. She was looking at those. She's like, guy, there was no makeup. The lighting was terrible, but we were still there.
But you've grown. Even the last time I came here, we were in a different room because that room cannot hold the capacity of the people that we are in now. Here I go with that preaching again. I'm just trying to say, this is growth. But that growth was you who forced yourself. Was it easy?
No.
Just accept that growth will never be easy.
It will not be.
Just accept it right now. So that you're like, hey, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be hard. But it will expand you and you're just going to be like, what? So mine is also just to say thank you because I'm so expanded, but I have no idea what this expansion is for. I just know I cannot go back to good. So I'm in the unknown, expanded and ready for the capacity and ready for whatever is going to come in this next stage because I decided in the good to still grow.
Amen. And thank you. And I'm just thinking, in this transition, PLF has been that transition. Can you imagine? You have PLF, you have your band of warriors to make this transition. You've just talked about how in transitions, what you need is leadership
Wow.
and guidance.
Mm.
So I'm just feeling like PLF is that. God gave a theme. The theme always works. Miracles, signs, and wonders. There's a word, and then there are people to push you through that. There's prophetic word to get you through into the next. And the next is always great. But I'm just speaking about comfort zones as Mugwe gives his parting shot. I mean, when I think about my life, nothing could advise what I'm doing. First of all, it wasn't that great. Yeah. So I look and say, there are people who are living greater lives who can go and do this thing, and their lives are perfect. My life was not perfect. So sometimes even the imperfections, getting out of the comfort zone, why do you want to go share this with the whole world? But that is what is pushing you to be better. Taking the circumstances and the experiences that I've had that have not been so great and making them work for me, and then teaching other people how to make them work for themselves and not to make mistakes, and do the things they need to do. I don't know why a story comes to mind. I remember once I was called to Mavuno, I think, at Hill City, and they had many services. They have Saturday service and 3 Sunday services. And they were, I was talking to people, and I always tell people, marriage works. My marriage didn't work, but marriage works. That's the story, and giving them reasons why. And there was healing happening in the congregation. People were coming back together. So I hear all those testimonies. But every time I got on the stage, I'd have no tears, and I share. When I get off the stage, I cry until the next day. And it's not a good crying. It's
Makamasi.
Right?
Makamasi session.
But it's so fun. When I get up on the stage, not a single tear. You can't even tell. But I was crying, weeping at the pain and what I had suffered through my marriage, and even me, my contribution to that suffering. Just the pain. But you're there and you're helping people. That's not easy. That's what leadership is about. You have to step up here and say, this went wrong, but this is how you can make it go right. You don't have to stay and hide who you are, because it's not helping anyone. Who is that helping? No one. So let's come here and share our leadership experience.
And Pastor Angie, last one. This video is my timestamp.
Really?
So this video later on, remember I'm talking about going to the unknown.
Yeah.
I will refer people to this
To
video.
this video. Amen.
For them to understand that I didn't know
Where I was going.
that this is the proof.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so powerful. Mugwe?
What we've learned and where we're headed. I think for me, I've unlearned a lot. First and foremost, it's not even just about learning; it's about unlearning as well. I've unlearned a lot, and I have learned that I need to be more of a fountain than a sink.
More than a fountain.
I need to be more of a fountain. Fountains, the water is
Always.
you're always getting more water as you give out water.
Mm.
So I need to be more of a fountain. I need to give a lot more
Yeah.
and receive a lot more. And that's why in our journey of growth as men, I'm receiving a lot, but I'm also sharing a lot so that we grow each other. And that's just the analogy of being a fountain. Instead of just being the person who's receiving.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a sink, I want to be a fountain.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this to the team before we came onto the podcast, and I was like, this was my test of obedience, because my initial answer is usually ngoja kwanza, let me think about it. This one I started, and then I was like, Mugwe. I was like, okay, yes, and then let's see how this goes.
Wow.
Because it was my stepping stone of being obedient. So I think even letting go of that fear, because I do not know, I'm like, God, you are my source, you are my foundation. So without you I cannot fall.
Yeah.
So I will go and I will do. I think there's even a song by Angie, I will go. No.
Song number 6. This is how we are fans.
This is how we are fans. Yeah. So that's it. And I mentioned that this particular podcast, as we are recording it today, is us saying yes to what we have been asked to do.
That's so amazing. And obedience is everything.
Yes.
Everywhere in all my spaces, and especially when I had my own physical spaces, I would put that word everywhere, because you can't do this without obedience. It's always about obedience. It's always about taking that first step, and taking the step through the door. Sometimes I tell you, people will pray for the doors to open, and then I'm amazed. When the door opens, now we have to kick them through the door because the door is open. Now you have started about what if this door. The possibilities
It's
now.
too dark in
It's
there.
crazy. Yeah, it's very dark. We don't even know where we're going.
Switch on the
What
light
we need,
fast.
I need to go back and get a torchlight. I don't know, a torch.
We want to see the end.
Get through the door.
Yeah.
But that is what leadership is about. Leadership is about obedience. It's about influence. It's about impact. It's about being stretched. It's about growing. It's about being a fountain. So you're continuously pouring into yourself, pouring out, because they say you cannot give what you don't have. So it's a continuous process. And then for my excitement is fathering a generation that has not been fathered. And I know they will find you. So I'm sure we're going to share all the social media tags or
Yes.
all the social media. You're just saying yes.
Yeah, handles.
Handles. Thank you.
It's
All the
tags,
social media handles.
those ones.
Feel free to reach out to them. Feel free to send them direct messages. But we'll get the help. And I've loved this also on social media. When I learned how to pray for people on Instagram, how amazing is that? I just, microphone and
Voice
I pray.
notes.
Yeah, voice note. And it's such a beautiful place. We don't always have to meet. These Meshamanias are too many. Tell me what you need and I'll do my best to give it to you. So there's access to us. So I'm really proud of you guys. I just know, even me, I think this is going to be, you said it's a point of? This is a point of reference. I don't know why.
For all of us.
Even for me.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a timestamp of something, because something is going to blow out. And I wasn't going to say this, but let me say this. I remember in PLF season 4, this lady came, and I've been looking for the lady who brought her and asking her, where is that lady? So she came into my class. Prophets can be very annoying. So she came into my class and then she was laughing while I'm teaching. I'm like, what's wrong with this woman? Then she's laughing because she told me PLF is not it. And this is season 4. I was already, what? Don't even try to give me more work. What do you mean PLF is not it? But she gave me that prophetic word and I can see it now. I can see it coming to pass, that there's more. There's more that God has wanted, There's been a lot of fight about PLF, but there's more that God wants that is actually going to come out. So she was saying, imagine season 4 of PLF. I didn't even have time. You know how you don't have time for a prophecy? I didn't have time. I'm dealing with PLF season 4. You guys now in 33.
Wow.
In Tanzania, it's 22. So this has been a lot that has gone on, but to think through, there's more. And I'm feeling like this is the turning around and the impact of the more that's coming. Thank you so much for coming today on the podcast.
Thank you very much for having us.
So much. And God bless you greatly. And I'm coming to CTA. What was CTA? I'm on my way. I got to go to that CTA, cleaning up the areas and hear what people are doing. God bless you guys. Bye. We love you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Harry.
Thank you.